Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now, hey now, hello, 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 hey now, and hey now, hey now, and hey now. Welcome to hour number two. Bubba Rumble says, check out the home prices in Barrow, Alaska. They got $1 million crack shacks there. Really?
Crack shacks is so a lot of drug use up there, I guess.
No, he's just saying that even a crack house is $1 million.
Yeah, no, that was the joke I was making.
Let's see. Home prices in Borough, Alaska. The average home is approximately 313,000. That's about normal, I guess.
Yeah, because it's very scenic up there, I'm sure. Well insulated houses, I bet.
Yeah. Inventory levels are extremely low with very few open transactions or active listings at any given time. But yeah, I'm looking at one that does look like a crack shack, and it's $225,000, 984 square feet.
Gosh knows. That's basically an apartment.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough. I mean, how could you just live in snow like that? I don't get
And,
it.
and like darkness for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
And then light for weeks and weeks.
Yeah, dude.
Forget it, man. They would find me unalive. Not well, they'd find me just dead on the floor from lack of sleep.
It's gotta screw with you because, I mean, honestly, like your body reacts to the sun going down. Like when it gets dark outside.
Oh, yeah, it's circadian rhythm is what they call it.
Yeah, your brain secretes melatonin, and it helps you get tired at night. So, I don't know. Maybe they just have to take melatonin a lot during that time of year, or something.
I bet they got a lot of melatonin addicts.
I don't think you can get addicted to melatonin. I don't think that's how
Speak
that
for
works.
yourself.
I'm just saying, I don't think that's how that works.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
Okay, never mind.
If you want to get in, 205-545-9950. This morning they had Todd Blanche nomination voting or whatever, confirmation. Not nomination, but confirmation. I don't know if they pulled it off or not. I assume they did because the reason he hadn't been confirmed is because Tom Tillis and John Cornyn were holdouts on it, which was so stupid. They're like, we want confirmation that Todd Blanche is not going to bring back the anti-weaponization fund and pay the January 6 riders. I'm like, dude, with the stupid stuff our government spends our money on, like, I ain't even about to get mad about people from January 6th who had their lives ruined by the very same government getting a little bit of a payday. I ain't going to be mad. Because guess what? If you pay them, it's not like they're going to be living high on the hog. You've put them so far into debt and ruined their lives, put their lives in shambles, plastered their face everywhere where they can't get a decent job that, if anything, is just going to help them survive a little longer. So I was all for it. And no, of course, they weren't going to go around and pay these Fed boys and, FBI plants and people that were actually causing damage and breaking windows and whatever else. But there's a lot of people that got scooped up in that thing that had no business being prosecuted by an unjust and unfair kangaroo court in Washington, D.C., where if you had to go in front of a Washington, D.C. court for anything related to January 6th, you were not going to get a fair trial. You were done. You were cooked. Not only because the judge already had a preconceived notion about what he was going to do, not only because it was a leftist jury, but whatever public defender you were appointed was in on it with the courts. It was their job to just misguide you, get you to plead guilty, and send you off to prison. So you were screwed in every single direction. You never had the ability to have a fair trial. And that right there is justification enough for some sort of restitution. But not for John Cornyn, not for Tom Tillis, because they've got morals. They don't want to pay riders. I'd like to see all the stupid stuff that stupid spending that these two jabronis have put have voted to spend money on. Todd Blanche says, my team and I have met with committee members and senators over the past weeks to address any concerns about outstanding questions. We've enjoyed good faith discussions and, as a result, issued the following order and update in regard to the May IRS settlement. The department always welcomes and appreciates productive engagement with all members of Congress. So what they wanted was it in writing. They're like, yeah, he says he's not going to do it, but he needs to write it on a piece of paper. It's like, shut up, man. I cannot stand some of these Republicans. Absolute losers. Losers. But Todd Blanche is going to be a good attorney general, I do believe. So you got Todd Blanche, looks like he's locked in. You've got Jay Clayton, who's locked in for DNI. I wouldn't have been mad with Bill Pulte staying at DNI because, and this is what people need to know because nobody really talks about this. Bill Pulte as the replacement, the placeholder replacement for Tulsi Gabbard, had done a phenomenal job in firing deep state operatives within the intelligence community. And trust me, there's a lot of them there. There's still more of them there. But Pulte was able to identify a lot of them and send them down the road because they are not in the business of pursuing the president's agenda and making America safer. So he said, see you, Coles. Send them on. So good for him, and I hope Jay Clayton, who is now the DNI director, keeps that up and keeps on rocking and rolling. Darlene Graham. I want to talk about her for a second. Darlene Graham, obviously the sister of Lindsey Graham, has taken his place, and while she is kind of an interim senator for South Carolina, she now has to win an election. She's up for Lindsey Graham, that seat's up for re-election, so she is now going to be on the ballot in November, and because of that, she had to get in on the debate, which I got to say is quite amazing for somebody that's not in politics to have been thrust into politics just over the past few weeks and is already on the debate stage, debating ideas. I was highly impressed, but I want to let y'all hear some of the things that she said in case we're just, when something like this happens and it's just like somebody's sister takes their place, it kind of feels weird. You're going to be like, okay, we're just doing a whole swapperoo and just putting in whoever we want. But this, I think, has turned out to be a good call. This was Darlene Graham last night on the debate stage in South Carolina.
This one's easy. This is, I think, another reason President Trump endorsed me. I'll be glad to stand with President Trump. Anybody that's here illegally, they need to be walked right back out of our country immediately. I'm all for supporting and funding ICE. I support law enforcement. President Trump has done a great job protecting our borders. These people come in, they take our jobs, they run up the cost of health care because they're receiving free health care. So again, I think President Trump has done a fabulous job protecting our borders, and I'll continue to stand with him.
But that wasn't even the best part. The best part was when she was asked about the Save America Act and whether or not she supports doing what has to be done in order to get that passed. Here's what she said.
Earlier, I'm willing to stay through recess to get it done. What's up with recess anyway? Who gets a month off from work? I think we should stay up there and work and get it done. You have to have an ID to check out a library book to buy alcohol, and you don't have to have an ID to vote. That's absurd. In New Jersey, they had 6,600 people, non-citizens registered to vote, and several hundred of them did vote in our election. And I am all for, this is where I differ from my brother, getting rid of the filibuster to get this done, because eventually the Democrats are going to get rid of it anyway.
Dang.
Man, she's a rock star.
Dang. Let's go, Darlene. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like.
Man.
She's on it, dude. I like her. She is. And it's straight up. I mean, it's common sense. And Lindsey Graham was against it, by the way. He was against nuking the filibuster. And she says, you know what? I'm not, because I know how crazy these people are. I've seen them. I've watched them. They're insane. And if you need more evidence, even if you didn't think that the current Democrats, the Chuck Schumers, the whoever's, wouldn't nuke the filibuster, look at who they're trying to elect now. Look at some of the primaries today. The straight up socialist that they were like, you think those people that want to abolish the Senate won't nuke the filibuster? Come on, dude. So you go, Darlene. I like you. You're awesome. You keep it up. Come on, South Carolina. Y'all got to elect this woman. She is a certified badass. More debates happening last night. We will get to those when we get back. 205-545-9950. The line, Talk 99.5. 205-545-9950. So Darlene Graham's got some balls. Something that you will not find on the other side of the aisle when you watch their debates. There was one in Massachusetts where running for Senate is Seth Moulton going up against Ed Markey. And both of them currently in Congress, but they are vying for that Senate seat. And they got on stage and basically just tried to outwoke each other. It was disgusting because there was a lot of issues. They're like, no, I hate ICE more than you do. And it's like, no, I'm going to defund them more than you defund them and all this stuff. But then the topic of the trans stuff came along because with the WNBA and the Sophie Cunningham and all this stuff, I was listening to Jesse Waters yesterday talk about this. He said, I am sick and tired of talking about the WNBA. They don't deserve the attention. He's like, this is stupid. We should not even be recognizing them. Whether or not they have this issue going on, quit recognizing them. Now, that's not to say that both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham are badasses, because they absolutely are. But the WNBA as a whole, like, with all of this going on, have any of you watched a WNBA game? Have you, John Bird?
I've watched clips.
But have you watched a game?
No.
Have you bought any WNBA merchandise?
No.
Neither have I. And dare I say, 99 to 100% of our audience falls in that same category. So this is not doing anything for them. It's not doing anything for us to have to talk about it. So I say just be done with it. But anyway, the reason I even bring it up is as I say that we don't need to talk about it anymore, I'm sitting here talking about it. The reason is that's why this is a topic at this Democrat debate. And so they're going back and forth about, do you want to protect trans kids? Do you believe in the trans athletes, this and that? And this was Ed Markey's answer.
We should have been loving those kids. There's only 12 trans athletes on the whole of the NCAA. We should have been embracing them. Instead, what Congressman Moulton did was he threw them under the bus. And then just 3 weeks ago, the Supreme Court of the United States agreed with him and said that those kids are not entitled to constitutional protections. Massachusetts has those protections. We have to fight to expand it for the whole country.
So Ed Markey's looking over at Seth Moulton, and he said, I love trans kids more than you love trans kids because you said you didn't love trans kids, which he did, I guess, last year. He said something about he supports trans people, but he's got daughters, and he doesn't want his daughters getting run over in their sport by biological males. And by the way, at one time, even for a Democrat, that was a very normal thing to say, but not so much anymore. So he was confronted, as you heard, with those comments that he had previously made. And instead of sticking by his guns, Seth Moulton did this.
Congressman Moulton, in your last debate, you said when you were asked about student athletes who are transgender, to anyone out there listening tonight, anyone in the LGBTQ community or anyone else, I stand with you because I've always stood with you. But after the last presidential election, you said, I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a male or formerly male athlete. Congressman Moulton, which is it?
To the trans community, feeling the weight and the pain of the Trump administration policies, I deeply recognize your trauma. And I'm sorry if my comments hurt you.
Beta, soy, men.
I'm so sorry. Please come beat up my daughters. I'm sorry I ever said anything. Oh, pathetic, man. I feel like when I hear stuff like that, the first thing I think about is their wives, and like, are their wives really into that? But like, are their wives really into this subdued, emotional, estrogen-filled soy boy grown man. Because my experience is that women want a provider. They want a guy. They even want a guy that'll be willing to beat the ish out of somebody if they
Yep.
mess with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to protect the wife, to protect the kids. You know, you don't have to be this inflated macho bullish to be a manly man that is that women are attracted to. But this right here, this is like this is complete opposite. It's the opposite of protecting the women in your life. Your two little girls, within a year, you went back on what you said and you apologized for saying that you wanted to protect your two daughters from biological boys. What do your daughters think of that? That's what I want to know. Dexter, what's up?
Hey, man, what about that girl that defended Caitlin Clark and got elbowed in the mouth last night, or night before last?
Was that Sophie Cunningham?
Yeah. She got elbowed or something
I didn't see it.
upside the head or
I don't
whatever.
watch it.
You know. What'd they do about that?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Usually in those situations, if it's Caitlin Clark or Sophie Cunningham getting roughed up, they just act like they didn't see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know. I just saw it on the news this morning when I was up, when I just got in from my job.
Yeah.
And that's what I was wondering, whatever happened about that with that other girl that they elbowed upside the head.
I don't know, man. I'll look at it and see.
All right, man.
See what happened. All right,
Appreciate
Dexter.
it. I'll get you later. I just got up where I could listen to you.
Roger.
I didn't know y'all already talked about it.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we hadn't talked
All right,
about
man.
it yet.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
buddy.
Bye.
I did talk about how I don't watch the WNBA. Not that Dexter does. He said he saw it on the news, but I haven't.
You know,
even
he's a
seen that clip.
secret fan.
Yeah. Out there watching WNBA while he's repoing caskets.
Yeah, with his Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
Caitlin
her
Collins
too.
works for CNN.
All of them.
Let's do it. 205-545-9950.
I love these guys, Rise Against.
Oh, such a good band.
Yeah, they're on my favorite list.
They got such good it's just powerful songs, man. It makes you feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like to see that. And they look so normal, too, if you watch their music videos. Did you ever watch the one for Help Is on the Way?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And it makes you angry when you watch it and think back of what happened during Katrina in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. I'll never forget that.
And the utter just abomination of leadership that they had. The mayor, Ray Nagin, I'll never forget that
None
guy.
of those levees, man, taken care of in years and years.
You remember Geraldo standing in front of him as they were like waters poured over it? I think that was wild. Geraldo, as much of an idiot as he is, he's got some wild moments. Yeah, you talk about Al Capone's, vault and all this kind of stuff, but like he's got some wild moments.
Yeah, back in the 70s, man, he would get it. He'd get in there to report.
He'd get knocked out. He'd get punched in the face and hit in the nose with a
chair.
A chair on that episode. By the way, I'm not gonna bring that up. We weren't supposed to bring that up. We've got a slight connection to that episode that we can't talk about.
We're not gonna tell you.
And they know who they are. It's just it's wild. It's wild. I'm not gonna put that out there. We almost did one time on the podcast, but
I think you're getting close right now, buddy.
I
You better be
know.
careful.
I want to say it.
When you say something and then pause for a minute, I can look and see. Okay, he's pondering whether or not to do that.
I want to, but I'm not going to. It's not right. It's not my place. It's not my place to say anything. But
Look
it
out
is
the
funny.
pause.
It is funny though. It is.
Yeah. No.
Okay, no, I'm not
Don't
gonna
do it,
do
dude.
it. I'm not gonna do it. What were we talking about? Okay. Let me talk about Noto Roofing. Let me just do
There
a
we
fresh
go.
reset, cleansing of the palate, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
NotoRoofing.com. My roofing guys, you know about them. You know that you can get a free roof inspection and a free roof tune-up. What else is there? I mean, free. I'm serious, free. Doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation. There's no, hey, we gave you a tune-up. Now you have to do business with us. There's none of that. Like, you're not obligated to do anything. But if they do find some problems, they're going to tell you about them. And they're going to say, hey, here's your options. Maybe you might even need a whole new roof. Who knows? If that's the case, they're going to contact the insurance companies for you. They deal with them every day, so they know them. They know how to work them. Insurance companies are a headache. They don't want to pay out if they don't have to. But those guys are pros at working with those companies. So, and some are easier than others. Some are absolute, DSers. I'm just like hard to work with, and they make it happen. Love those guys. Noto Roofing, NOTO Roofing.com, NotoRoofing.com, 205-848-2299. That's 205-848-2299. I want to talk about the primary that is coming up in, and I'll get to Michigan in a minute, which is today. That's the one a lot of people have their eyes on, with 3 different races. One with a couple no-name people. Then you got Sri Thanadar defending his seat. I really don't want to see, like, if they're going to have a Democrat in that seat, I don't want to see Sri Thanadar go, because he's such an easy target, and he's kind of dumb anyway. But Sri Thanadar, and then the other one with the El Sayed guy, who is a Muslim Islamic extremist, like to the max, unlike anything that we've seen in politics to date. But first, I want to talk about Wisconsin, which is next week. and this chick that's running for the nomination on the Democrat side for governor. Now, there were a couple of people, I think there was, I don't remember what the total was, but I know there was one guy in particular that dropped out. I think I mentioned him yesterday, that had some damaging information that was about to come out about him, so he just straight dropped out, which leaves this Francesca Hong in the lead. Now, Francesca Hong is this young, I guess she's Chinese, I don't know, lady. She looks to be in her 30s. I haven't checked her actual age, but she is a radical socialist. Abolish ICE, abolish the police, part of the DSA movement, abolish the presidency, abolish the Senate, abolish the Supreme Court, or expand the Supreme Court to like 30 justices, like crazy. These people want to overhaul the government. They want to take the current structure of government and just completely change it. Those are crazy views, okay? But even on the kind of side note opinions or views that she has, there's crazy ones out there like wanting to get rid of Thanksgiving. Like just there's a lot of abolishing that they want to do within the Democrat Socialist party, but abolishing Thanksgiving is a pretty big one. Like a lot of people like Thanksgiving, but she says, no, we shouldn't do it. So she put out an old tweet. She said, let's abolish Thanksgiving. And she's tried to clean some of this stuff up and delete tweets and everything else. What's interesting, when you look at these old tweets from these candidates, that's where they are the most honest. Back when their opinion didn't matter, back when their opinion couldn't be used against them, in their old post 5, 10, 15 years ago, that's when they were telling you who they were. Now that they're running for politics, they got people behind the scenes telling them, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. But you got to give it to the socialists because they don't really care, and they will still say a lot of this stuff. So she was asked by Caitlin Collins on CNN, who is trying to go to bat for these socialists. As long as it's a Democrat, it's blue no matter who. They try to help these people. You know how some of these reporters do. They will guide these politicians during these interviews to put them in a good position to answer a question appropriately.
They'll set them up perfectly.
Maybe the most egregious one I saw the other day was Dana Bash. Was it Dana Bash and Jake Tapper doing a CNN debate with Trump and Biden? And Tapper was asking Biden a question, but Biden was so out of it, he was like staring at Dana Bash. And Dana Bash, she was on camera. You could see her. She was pointing. She kept pointing at Jake Tapper to get Joe Biden's attention over to Jake Tapper, who was the one asking the question. But anyway, Caitlin Collins is trying to guide Francesca Hong on this idea of canceling Thanksgiving and giving her the opportunity to correct the record.
One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. The post has been deleted. Republicans have been highlighting it. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. You know, I always think my hospitality background in owning a restaurant for 7, 8 years, that bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And the position that I'm running for right now, and I think my background as a chef, will actually help me become a better governor that's able to bring more people to the table.
That's right. I'm a chef. So cancel Thanksgiving.
You know, she lost everybody when she said cancel Thanksgiving. Come on, man.
But she's a chef, John Bird. She's a chef, so she'll make a great governor.
Yes, and when she was 16, she did serve turkey dinners.
Speaking of when she was 16, there was a 2023 interview with her that came out that is kind of resurfaced from a publication called Meal Magazine. And I guess this goes back to her being a chef or whatever. She is, and by the way, I want y'all to know she's the current front runner in this primary by like 10 points.
Good gosh.
She openly admits during this, and details during this interview, an instance of a severe mental health crisis that she had in high school. She said she suffered a mental breakdown that landed her in a psychiatric hospital for a week. She described intense numbness and emotional pain that led her to self-harm by cutting. She was cutting herself. She further stated she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, was prescribed SSRIs, and overdosed on lithium. And in typical liberal fashion, she tried to paint herself as a victim in the interview, blaming the crisis on feeling like an outsider as the daughter of Korean immigrants. I called her Chinese earlier. She's Korean.
Man, when you don't mess around with bipolar, you take your medicine. You don't want your governor forgetting one day and then.
I don't think you want your governor bipolar at all.
No.
I mean,
not to steady and stable.
Yeah, not to diminish bipolar people, but like some people just aren't made for certain jobs, and I don't think that's a good. That's not one you want to put on your resume. It's crazy, and again, she surged to the top of the most recent polls in what is a crowded primary for governor of Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin's a key swing state that's delivered razor-close elections that has shown strong support for Republican candidates in recent years, in recent election cycles. But this, man, the fact that the Democrats are getting behind this is crazy, dude. Crazy. This chick is a lunatic. Oh, and speaking of Wisconsin, do you remember the Wisconsin brewery that we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
That I think we even sent people to their Facebook page to leave reviews.
Yes. What's up with that?
Minocqua Brewery. The owner, Kirk Bangstad, I actually follow the page, and so he's always like super hyper political on his post and everything. Well, he and his brewery has learned the meaning. Well, first of all, if you haven't heard of this brewery, they've got a long-standing rule called Free Beer Day if Donald Trump dies. No matter how he dies, if he dies, then everybody gets free beer for that day. And I think if, like, Mitch McConnell dies, it's half-price beer or something. But the big thing is like, they celebrate the day that Donald Trump dies, and that has caused him to get interviewed by the Secret Service and like a lot of he's basically ruined his own business. But now karma has come around, and the state of Wisconsin's Department of Revenue sent a letter to the owner, Kirk Bangstad, informing him that his business's permit to operate in the state was officially revoked.
Oh, dang.
That's right. They pulled his license, and so now he no longer has a brewery that he can legally operate. Now, this actually comes, and this is not just they did it for political reasons. They had recently, authorities showed up and seized a bunch of cans of beer from his company, saying that those beers have been transported from Illinois without the required permits and taxes. They were like craft beer or whatever from Illinois, and he just brought them in anyway and didn't go through the proper channels and everything else that people that own breweries know you have to do. He fumed over the news and vowed to fight back by saying, as you can imagine, I'm not taking this lying down. We're going to fight the state of Wisconsin tooth and nail, and once again, they'll have to pry me out of my tap rooms before I stop selling beer to thirsty progressives who come to visit us. Right.
Won't it all be light beer or, blonde?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you're selling to progressives,
Yeah.
or soy beer,
Soy beer.
Yeah.
That's true.
root beer,
Yeah.
that wimpy stuff.
That old wimpy stuff. That gay beer.
Yeah, beer tender, give me another root beer.
All right. 205 545 9950. That's 545 9950. Let's keep it rolling right after this. Yeah, couldn't have happened to a better guy than Kirk Bangstad at the Wisconsin Brewery. That dude's a straight lunatic. Let me get who we got. Peter in Hueytown. Peter, what's up?
Actually, it was teeter totter. But
Teeter totter.
hey, yeah, I just wanted to say, that I've seen a couple of body cam videos with that guy at that brewery in Wisconsin, and he's one of those just real repulsive, just constant profanity guys. Like, I mean, I'm not an angel, but like, just every word out of his mouth is just trash. You know what I mean? And I just think it's ironic he didn't mind, and I'm about to use some mild vulgarity, but I'm just warning you to piss. I mean, he didn't mind. He was defying the free market and not allowing it to work he was pissing his money away to keep it afloat so he could keep it as a political thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's ironic that the thing that ended up doing him in was the big government overregulation is what got him. So that's good. He deserves it.
Yeah, that is the irony of all of this is all the regulations that he supports is what finally bit him in the ass. So
because the free market obviously would have destroyed him, but he was just pissing his money away. He didn't care, and he was at war with the people across the street. You should watch these body cam videos of him. He's real. Everybody hates him around there, and he gets all his customers to stand in their little beer garden. He's got like 20 loyal customers, and they stand in the beer garden and they holler horrible stuff at anybody walking by. And if you go to this business across the street that's owned by a person that doesn't say what his politics are, but he just doesn't appreciate being hollered at all day. If you step into that guy's business, like he's hollering at everybody, and it's like 50 yards away, hollering all this stuff. Just anyway, he deserves it. I'm glad that his business is over.
Amen to that. All right. Thank you, bud. Teeter totter. Yeah, because he got in an altercation with that guy across the street and ended up getting arrested, too. But Teeter totter makes a good point because the irony of leftist ideas, which is big government, regulations, going after business owners who they view as rich people, and putting them under the thumb of government, that's ultimately what caused his demise. It's good. That's what happens. And that's what's happening with the Democrat Party as a whole. Like, these guys are committing political suicide right before our eyes with this big tent. They always use the same verbiage, by the way. It's the Democrats, they get talking points faxed over to them, and then they go on TV, and they all say the same thing. And you're going to continue to hear this over the next few weeks from all Democrats, and they're going to say, big tent, we got a big tent party, because they're being confronted with the ideas and the views of these socialists that are running and winning in some cases. They're asking them, do you really believe this? Do you really believe we should cancel Thanksgiving? Do you believe that we should abolish the Senate? And the Democrats that are in office, or what you would consider, what we wouldn't consider this, but people would call them moderate Democrats. There are really no moderate Democrats anymore. But they're like, no, we don't agree with everything that they stand for, but we have a big tent. We're a big tent party because we are so accepting and we allow everybody and all ideas to come in. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. You have made that clear that anybody that doesn't toe the party line exactly to a T, you will kick them out. You can see how they're treating John Fetterman. Bernie Sanders was on TV the other day. Oh, John Fetterman. Oh, he's got a good run of John Fetterman. Look what they did to Joe Manchin, who had to become an independent because the Democrat Party didn't like his common sense thinking. Remember, he wouldn't vote for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. I will never forget that. That was literally going to destroy our elections as a whole. So this idea of a big tent and allowing different ideas, yeah, apparently different ideas are allowed within the Democrat Party as long as they're going further and further left.